YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I am back with a quick reaction video. Now this comes from a video of women talking about women having to be hard and strong. Do black women have to be strong all the time? And I think it's something that a lot of women are dealing with these days because it's the very thing that's working against them. But where did it come from? And that's what I want to kind of dive in, because I think a lot of women don't talk about the history of it and why they think this way and why black women feel like they have to be hard. Where did that narrative come from? Why do so many women feel like they have to be strong and hard? So I want to play this clip for you guys. Y'all let me know in the comments, why do you think black women are so hard and strong? Why do you think they feel the need to be that way? I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. So chime in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on this, but let's go ahead and get into the video and then we'll talk about it. Here we go.
A woman who's not strong, who's not assertive with a black man in today's climate.
Instead of focusing on black women being soft, let's focus on raising our sons to provide environments where black women can feel comfortable being soft.
So why can't you just be soft instead of raising your child?
Because why can't I be soft? Because at the end of the day, there's still going to be a multitude of men who tell me I'm still too hard because I want a certain amount of things for myself. I'm asking for too much.
Because I feel like it's a stigma around black women. We have to be hard. We're strong as
Well, that's it. That's what.
But okay, and that's the truth. There is a stigma behind it, but where does it come from? A lot of women, when it comes to black women, grew up in environments, whether it was a single parent household or either when there was two parents in the household, because a lot of times there are situations where the fathers are telling their daughters that you don't need a man, you can be strong, you can do it all by yourself, don't depend on no man. So what that means, if you don't depend on a man, you got to depend on yourself. A lot of this independence comes from the way that a lot of us were raised. It comes from our mothers, sometimes our fathers, or both, who tell us as young women that we don't need a man, we can be strong, go to college, get your education, depend on you, don't ever depend on anybody else. So we grow up with this idea that we can't depend on anybody else, and we move accordingly. You get to the bag, you get a job, go to college, whatever you do to take care of yourself, and all of the burden of taking care of yourself is all on you because you have the idea in your mind that you can't trust a man. So we got to look at the root of this. A lot of this comes from our very own parents. That is a lot of pressure for a person to grow up in an environment where they've seen their mother struggle or they've seen their parents struggle, and now it's up to them to be successful so that they can finally take care of their mothers, finally put their mothers in a home and do right by them. That's a lot of pressure for one person to have to take on, and they have to do it all by themselves. The people who raised you told you to be independent and strong. Oh, you're strong, you can do it. They told you that. So your gripe should be with them, not anybody else, because you didn't just learn this at 30 years old. You know what I'm saying? You learned that from a child. Depend on you, take care of you. That's what they told us. Let's continue though.
independent. If you at home raising fat kids by yourself, because this mother's like, oh, you too hard.
You have to be. Do you have to be disrespectful? No. Do you do you have to break down a man?
No.
Absolutely not. But I do have an issue. One issue was with the whole you step outside and I ain't got to smile. I don't. I can be respectful and have my boundaries. I don't have to smile and be the nicest thing to everybody, but I can be cordial. I can be respectful, and I can exist.
And I guess I get it to a degree. I get it because I come from a single mother household, and I get it. But what I want women to understand is, hey, you don't have to continue to be that way. Being nice and cordial and smiling does not mean that you're a pushover. It doesn't mean that you just allow anything. And I think this is the perception in a lot of women's minds, is that, oh, if I'm too nice, this ninja gonna take advantage of me. No, a person can only do what you allow them. You don't have to be weak and just a pushover, a doormat, because you're nice and you smile and you have a feminine, inviting disposition. That doesn't mean that you accept anything and anything goes. No, you ain't nothing wrong with smiling. Hi, how you doing? And keep it moving. It doesn't mean that you don't have boundaries and that you don't have standards. It doesn't mean that. It doesn't mean you're weak. You could go to work, make good money, have a good job, and still be nice to people and treat people right, and still be feminine and understand men and have a good relationship. And this is why in this particular case, I point out the Black community, because this is mainly where you see this part. It happens in other people, but mainly for Black women, this is a big issue. Because as far as I can remember, we're the ones who have been told, oh, we got to be strong. We got to be strong for our whole families and all of this. And you don't need a man. You need to be independent and take care of yourself. Don't trust nobody. That's what's been told us. But in other cultures, they don't teach them that. They teach them family, femininity, working together. We don't get taught that. And so this is why we're at a disadvantage, in my opinion. We're so divided in our culture because we're taught to not trust anybody. So you don't trust people around you. You don't trust, everything is toxic. And so we grow up with that, and it shows and it reflects in the way we move, how we think, how we develop relationships, how we communicate. All of it is at a deficit. We don't understand one another. We've never taught to understand. We were told to isolate, basically. Separate yourself. You don't need him. You don't need this. And so what that caused you to do, you have to do everything by yourself. So it's even women who are successful and get into relationships with other successful men, they still don't know how to be in those relationships. It's not just about them. That's why I say it's not just about the money, because he could have the money, you have the money too, and you're allowed to work and do all that. Some men don't care about you working, but there's still certain things that they require and expect for the relationship. But there's a disconnect because it's a division that's automatically kind of ingrained within us. So when we get into a relationship, we automatically expecting the worst. We're automatically looking at negativity. We automatically seeing things in a way that is considered a red flag when it comes to black men, because that's how we were taught and raised. And see, it's only with black men because they'll go over to a non-black man and they treat him differently because they weren't taught that was your enemy. A lot of us were taught that our own black men are the enemies, and women treat them as such. You got to move with caution, and you don't trust them, and any little thing they do is a red flag and you out. But you're not afraid to have sex with them. You're not afraid to make babies with them. You're not afraid to do any of that. But when it comes to a serious long-term relationship, somehow that's a struggle for black women. You as an adult, you have to fight against what you were taught. I had to do it. I had to fight against the things that I was taught from my mother. I had to fight against the narrative, the upbringing that I had, because it was not conducive to a healthy relationship. And I knew that that's what I wanted. I knew I wanted a marriage. At some point, I wanted to be married. I want to have a family. I don't want to be in a toxic relationship. I don't want to be in a broken home. I don't want to just make babies with people that I'm not committed to and that are not committed to me. So I knew I wanted something more. So in order to do that, you have to relearn the things that were taught to you. You have to disassociate yourself from what your mother, what your family members, what the people around you talked about and what they taught you, because it is not, let me repeat, it is not conducive to healthy, stable relationships. And if that's what you want, you got to fight against your nature. You got to fight against the things that you learned as a child. You got to fight against the things that the woman or the mother that you love taught you, because it was not the right information for the things that you want. Now, if you okay with being by yourself and being a single mother, then what they telling you might work for you. But if you want more than that, if you want something more substantial, then you really got to fight against the things that they told you. You got to go opposite of the information they've given you, because it's not conducive to the things that you want in life. And this is why I think a lot of, you love your parents, you love your mother and all of that. You can love somebody, but you don't have to agree with everything that they say, especially when you see the outcomes of their teachings. If you see that what they're telling you has not yielded them the results they thought they would get, why would you continue to follow it? You can't become the same statistic you watch growing up and think that your outcome is going to be much different. No, it's going to be the same. And no matter if the only thing different is, you went got a job or you went to college because they told you to, because you needed to take care of yourself. You need to be independent and strong. So you went got some money, but you're still by yourself. You didn't master. You got that master's degree, but you didn't master men and relationships and family, even though you might want it. So there's some lessons to learn here. There's some things that you need to relearn in order to get a different outcome. If you want different from what you saw growing up, you got to do something differently. You can't keep following that thinking that somehow it's going to be different for you, because it's not. And it still has not proven to be any different. But anyway, y'all, let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Comment, like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell to be notified when I upload new content. Chime in. I definitely want to hear your thoughts on what you think about this particular video. Let me know what you think, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.